Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. This is Doug again, and I am reviewing Trowin's bot lane Gwen gameplay. And before we get too far, I'd like to just point out that I got help with this from Grandpa Schizo, so all these aren't all just my ideas, they are some of his as well. I went ahead and cut out the drafting phase of the game because you were late in the pick and you marked your position, and I think you picked a totally reasonable pick, so I have a lot to add there, so let's just jump into the gameplay. Blade and Book, solid start.
I once wrote 8 seconds on a dragon.
Now I see here you rotate into jungle with your jungler again. This was totally the standard rotation in 3.9, but with 3.10 there's no sharing of jungle experience or gold, so I would recommend just going straight to lane in this patch.
Circle the wagons. Or guardian.
I'll point this out a few more times during the video when I notice it, but you don't tend to use the mini-map very much. Like, at this point I would probably be clicking over to look at the lane and see how far in the main lane was pushing the lane, if you had to get there to keep minions going in a turret, etc, etc. So that's something I would try and work on, is just make use of that mini-map to get a better view of what's going on in the lane, or wherever you are, not on the map. So like we did here, your jungler pushes Maylene out and you just keep farming. Like, you're not going to be able to kill the Maylene, but you are able to deny her some farm, so just keeping farming I think was a really good choice there.
I dare you to say something about my mama.
And again, like, Taka's able to get out. If Taka wasn't able to get out, then giving it first was a pretty big deal, so like rotating earlier might have helped, but just based on results, I think it's a good choice. You missed a few minions here. That's definitely something to focus on in the future. Like, it's hard to give it specific advice other than trying to get those last hits. Sometimes that means just not attacking minion for quite a while, or attacking minions that aren't low in the back. But yeah, last lane's a big part of getting to higher tiers because you get more gold, and it's a lot easier if you have more gold than your opponent. Another thing I notice you do fairly often is you're using that A as a poke, and if you watch, it does not do a lot of damage, but it also means you're pretty low on energy at various points throughout this game. So I would reserve some of those, save them for slowing opponents, save them for the vision in the bush if you need it, but just for straight poke, I don't think it's really worth the cost of energy.
If there's
I think
no
that's a
law
solid first
around
buy.
here,
You
it'll have
use
to
the
be
majority
me.
of the money, almost all the money you have. You get tier 1 boots and the initial components to a sword blade, which is a good first item, so I like that.
All right, gang, move on out.
I also noticed throughout this video that you don't look at the score screen very often. It's another really valuable tool. Like here, I would assume that the million has already shopped, but without looking at that screen, it's hard to tell. So that's something I would think about doing more often. Like, if she hasn't shopped, like, you probably harass her a lot better here than you are. But if she has shopped, you're probably pretty even.
You need sense talking to you. Circle the wagons.
So here when you see Taka go in, I would recommend you follow him in, just because you can do damage to Maylene while Taka's taking turret shots for you. So that's something to think about next time, rather than waiting until after Taka's out. Also, I don't think you need to use your boots there. It doesn't look like Maylene was chasing it, so they can be saved for next time, but I understand the impulse, so
Circle
it's a
the
minor thing.
wagons.
So I like here how you look out, use the mini map and look out at the lane to see how your wave's doing. I have to do the same thing for the mid lane, and I also like there how you looked at the scoreboard to see. I don't know if you caught it, but you were a little ahead in gold and ahead in items on the mid lane, so that means you could probably harass her a little bit more, win most of the trades at this point, I would say. Just farming for now is probably a good choice because she has more minions than you, so you take damage from those minions. But now that you're probably pretty even in minions, she's used a bunch of abilities, you could probably harass her some. And a good way to do that is take a higher position in the lane, such that you force her to either fight you or give up minions, because she can't get to the minions without going through you. You do a good job getting some turret damage down there. I think you probably got a little more, since you still have a couple minions in her turret, but dropping's never a bad choice, so I like it.
Ever looked a dragon in the eye?
And here, now that you've seen her use her dark side A, I would consider harassing more, like you are, what you're doing here, so take back, good job. But you could just stay on that. Like, I think you're winning that trade and you have the flask still.
I once wrote 8 seconds on a dragon.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now you can just stay above those minions right where you are, yeah. You don't have to retreat back, and you can make sure Maylene doesn't get that farm. So, nice job.
Line up so I don't waste bullets.
It's a tough spot, because with most other heroes I would try and protect your teammate, but since they're Taka, you kind of have to let them run around and do whatever Taka thinks too. You know, hide in boxes and stuff. Yeah, now that she's so low, you can definitely push this turret, which is great. Nice job.
Enemy hero killed. I always hit my mark.
I would consider bootsing in on her there too. Like, she's really low, and I just used her block, so, or her root rather. But with that rotation down, I think what you did was the right thing. So.
Let me show you the sights. Here's the bad news.
So here's a case where you don't have the energy from those previous A pokes, where it would have been really nice to be able to chase, but no energy. Your build makes sense, I think. Sorrow Blade, Poison Shield is great. I am not a great Gwen, so I'm not gonna give a lot of insight into builds, but it seems like a good one. It's kind of the classic weapon fire build right now.
I dare you to say something about my mama.
That was a good use of A there. Your attempt to snipe, kind of bummed that it missed, but yeah, this is awesome. Like, you realize you're ahead. You get Gwen, or Varia rather. Sorry. So nice work.
Enemy hero killed.
So now that you have your first turret down, like I would clear this wave, but I would also look up at other lanes and see if like it might help your team more to rotate rather than continue farming lane. Farming lane is a good default, but like for example, there you can see melee in the mid lane right now. Like, you might be able to help more if you stay in the mid lane and try to take a turret there. Although she's up there, you can definitely get some damage here, so it's always a trade-off worth thinking about, though, because I remember from watching this video, you don't do a lot of rotations. I like that buy there, although I'm not sure you had to use the second pair of boots, but it's a good buy. It's a good option to have.
Spurs aren't sneaky.
So the new meta is still definitely being worked out in 3.10, but it seems like most people are leaving the weapon buff for the jungler for the first 2 rotations maybe, and then taking after that. So I think taking it there would have been reasonable, but not if you're losing turret. So it's a little unfortunate to kind of split focus here, but I think in the end you managed to clean both up. Nice job. So with 2 people down, I would consider looking into objectives you could possibly take. Either pushing another turret in a different lane, or taking dragon. I actually like your idea there a lot. Like, I think you probably could follow through with your boots and your flask, but I understand backing out.
Let's not die this time.
I like this idea of taking their CP buff. Probably obvious on retrospect, but you need to keep an eye on the minimap here because you notice they're pushing in on your bot turret. And this is when you finally lose that turret, which is, you know, it's 13 minutes of the game, so it's not the end of the world, but something to watch for.
Circle the wagon.
It's not just by checking the minimap because Taka's chasing there, and without really knowing what's going on, it's hard to know whether or not you should be trying to give him support or continue to farm. Also, Varia looks like she's on your mid turret. It's another chance where she looks pretty overextended. You might be able to go up there and get a kill, but you'd have to use the minimap to look in and see if she's low on health or low on energy or some, you know, get the whole situation. So you did a good job there looking at the scoreboard. And actually, I don't know if you caught that or not, but you're 1,000k ahead in gold, not anyone else in the game. So you're pretty far ahead now, so I would actually try and be even more aggressive than you were before. Taking fights where you can, because you should be able to win them.
Seconds on a dragon.
I think, no. I was gonna say, I think that's a good rotation there. You push your lane way out,
Let me show you the sights.
so you force the lane to stay there, but you can probably rotate to another lane and help more. But farming's okay default. Now that we don't have any vision on anyone, I would be a little careful wandering to their side of the jungle because there could be 2 or 3 people there, but in this case there aren't.
I always get my mark.
It looks like a team's fighting 3v4 in the top lane, or 4v3 rather, so that's good for you. Either I'd keep an eye on Barrier and William though, see if they rotate over that direction, try and help your team if you can. But
I dare you to say something about my mama.
see, now you can see Barrier is caught out there. That's another case I would rotate your team and try and help them kill that Barrier. But that's awesome. So now you're up 4v1. But you notice 2 of them come up really quickly, so now you're up 2v1. They have 2 dead, you have 1 dead. So I would actually, if your team is trying to take the dragon, I would rotate to him quicker because you're going to be one of the faster objective takers in your team. And as it is, they just kind of have to drop the dragon because the other team's all up, mostly up now, and you weren't able to get it. So I would definitely prioritize the dragon over those back doubles in that case. If the death timers are longer between when you started the dragon and when they came up, I would maybe just take those back doubles. I think that's okay in that case. But in this case, so you got a short time, you probably would have helped to go rotate down. So now you have 3 people down and long death timers between then. So you could, yeah, I think it's probably best to all take the dragon, but this is a case where you probably could do other things. And let there's 3 people take it while you push lane or whatever. You've been positioned really well in these team fights. Like, you haven't really got caught out at all yet, which is awesome. If anything, maybe you're a little overly cautious, but that's alright.
Alright, gang.
So here, you're split pushing the dragon up. Like, I would... It's late enough in the game and they're still down a person that I might just stick with them, because you can probably just win the game here, but since you got Ringo to rotate over to you, like, that's a win in itself, because now they're not down a person, you know, it's even in the middle as opposed to if you were over there by yourself. But your team's cleaning up, so it's working out. So the flicker fountain reminds me of another thing that the scoreboard's really good for, is looking to see if your team has what utility items your team has up right now. Like, you're pretty low in health coming in there, so like if you knew your team didn't have a fountain, you'd have to be a lot more cautious than in this case where your team did have a fountain and you're able to just be more aggressive and counter your support to clean up or heal you. So, nice job. So yeah, overall I think you played really well. I think my general takeaways would be focus on the last hitting, a little more lane pressure when you're ahead on your opposing laner, use the mini-map and scoreboard more often to kind of know where you are in the game, and consider rotating to other lanes after you push out your first turret. So that's all I got. Well played, and I hope this was helpful.